Thanks for joining us in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics. As always, we're emanating from the studios that they built and provide for us. And we've got a very, very special guest today. Bengals defensive back, safety extraordinaire, Solomon Wilcots, who had a marvelous career in the National Football League as a player. And now, of course, you hear him in all forms of broadcast, taking care of business in the National Football League. I mean, every medium there is, Solly is part of it, man. He's the busiest man in the media world, I think. And appreciate you carving time and joining us today, Solly. Thanks very much.
Always great to join you, Dave, and to look forward to having a good conversation about our Bengals, of course, who made our Thanksgiving Day weekend a wonderful one.
They really did. Yeah. They really did. I mean, anytime you can take care of business like that. Yeah. And Solly, with that win, they go 3-1 in the division. Yeah. And that's big. I mean, that's the biggest tiebreaker there is, basically. I mean, if you find yourself in position to make the playoffs at the end of the year, that's a big thing to have in your back pocket. There's no question about it.
Yeah, you get the sense is, the record's 4-8, but they still control their own destiny. Think about that. I mean, they can win out and win the division. If they win out, that's what's going to happen. I mean, it sets up perfectly. You might say that Joe Burrow returned just in time, right? And the margin for error for yet again for him is so very slim. But he's going to give it his best. He finished off the season last year in 2024 by helping the Bengals win 5 straight to close out the 2024 season. If they can do it again this year, then they would punch a ticket to the playoffs by winning the division. Highly improbable, highly unlikely, but yet it still remains possible.
They're right. There's still hope. Keep hope alive. I mean, right. Bengals fans are excited about that. And Joe Burrow has proven once again, and there was never any question, I don't think, about it, but he definitely is the straw that stirs the drink. I mean, he is the man. I mean, he's the most important player the Cincinnati Bengals have in their roster and might be the most important player of the National Football League to anybody's roster. I mean, he just is a football savant. He understands the game at such a high level, and his teammates have so much confidence in him, and he just lifts the whole boat. I mean, they feel like get a shot against any opponent, anytime, anywhere when Joe Burrow's under center.
Yeah, I think what Joe does, because of his love for the game and the way he grew up, he had the perfect dad. If you're going to play this sport, if you're going to play football, Jimmy Burrow deserves a lot of credit. I think his parents, his mom and his dad, were there for him. And he grew up in the sport with his dad as a coach.
Yep.
And looking at it from the defensive perspective, remember, Joe played both ways in high school. He played defensive back. When he looked at it from the defensive side, his father was a defensive coach. I got to imagine all those years when he was studying tape at the knee of his dad, he was looking at it from that perspective in it. And then later when he moved and decided that quarterback was going to be his thing, he started to view it from the other side. All that has come together to make for a very interesting perspective in how he views the game, his love for the game, which I think drives his work ethic. I think without that true core love for the competition and for the science of the game itself, I don't know that he comes back as so quickly from what could have been a real devastating injury, a grade 3 turf toe injury that we've seen ruin careers, by the way.
Yeah.
And for him to come back within the same season, I think it's utterly remarkable. There's some good fortune stitched in there as well, but I think his desire is the common denominator. And that's what you saw in the game on Thanksgiving night, his desire to win for this team and for this town. And I think it's appreciated, especially within that locker room by his teammates.
I agree with you 100,000%, Solly. And Mason and I were talking a little bit earlier. Joe Burrow, he brought in energy, enthusiasm, to the locker room as well. It's like they were juiced up even more than normal for the football game because Joe was back, and like you said, he was back early. I mean, they didn't expect Joe Burrow to be back under center as quickly as able to, but he wasn't going to miss that national television opportunity, man, to show the world I'm back and I'm ready. But what a commitment he made to rehab. I mean, because we've had rehab injuries, Solly. We know that's no fun, man. That's a grind. And Joe, that's a good word for Joe. Joe is a grinder.
Yeah.
And he just grounded out, man, didn't he?
I think NFL fans, and there's no way they really can know and fully appreciate what it means when players come back from injury. You know what that's like. I mean, it's hard just to get healthy. Another thing to insert yourself back into the game without any rust, without any erosion to your level of play,
right,
without any setbacks to the precise and nature of our sport and the precision and timing that's needed and chemistry that's needed with others, that there's going to be some residual impact from your time spent away from the game. Because when it comes to healing, every doctor will tell you, I've had surgeries and know you've had them, but any time you deal with doctors, they tell you, I can fix the injury, but only you can deal with the healing. There's other things that are taking place with the healing. And that starts with your drive, with your motivation, with how much you put time into your recovery.
Right.
It is an effort to be healed from any catastrophic injury. And if you've had surgery, that's a catastrophic injury. The body broke and it took medical science to put it back together. But they'll even tell you, we can't put it back together the way God made you.
Right.
That's something that's so outside of all of our control that we marvel when we're able to go back and be the athlete that we once were before the injury.
Right.
And to be able to do that in such short time span and not see any erosion to his game, I'm not saying that he was on top of it in that first half, but by the second half, he looked like he hadn't missed any time, but he missed 9 games due to this injury. I think it's remarkable. I think it's undescribable, to be honest with you. And I don't even know that I think even Zach will tell you, I don't know that any of us could have anticipated that this would happen. I think he's exceeded our expectation. And I'm glad he did, because he showed up just in the nick of time.
He certainly did. And like you said, I thought in the first half he was kind of feeling out through it a little bit, letting the process unfold. And that's a damn good defense to have to come back against. I mean, the Baltimore Ravens, they've got good scheme. They've got good players. The players fit the scheme. They do a few things very, very well. So it's a tough challenge. And I agree with you. By the second half, man, that ball was coming out of his hand beautifully. I mean, fluidly, with great spin on it, perfect RPMs, and he hit very small, tight windows. He put it on the navel, he put it on the right shoulder, put it on the left knee, right hip, whatever the case may be. He put the ball exactly where he had to. In some cases, 25, 30 yards down the football field in that second half. So he's a talent. I mean, he's an extraordinary talent. And now with T back and with Jamar coming back after serving that 1-game suspension, imagine him having both of those guys again. They've been waiting and hoping for this day. It's been a while since these three have been out there, making magic together on the football field. And I think they're excited about getting it done again.
Yeah, you kind of get the sense that Joe, as much as he wanted to make it back for the team and the town, and knowing what disappointment it was to get hurt in the second game of the year, it was so deflating for many of the Cincinnati Bengals fans. And I think he sensed that. It was deflating for him.
Yeah.
But I think he hurt for others, though. It's like he hurt for the fans. He hurt for the ownership group that entrusted so much in him and the decision to bring back T and Jamar. But I think more than anything, he felt bad for Jamar and T that they had to go on without him, that they had to endure somehow and try to get through this season without him. How can they put up numbers, by the way, without a quarterback?
Right.
I mean, if you look at Minnesota right now, Justin Jefferson, who's so good, he can't do anything without somebody to get him the ball. And I think he hurt for those two guys and wanted to make it back for those two guys as much as he wanted to make it back for all those other reasons. I think that was baked into it as well. And then to get back, and now T was out last week, and now to have them both back, they've got to be rubbing their hands together and
Yeah.
said, guys, look, man, let's go make this. Let's have some fun doing this. And look, these teams have had trouble defending Jamar. They've had trouble defending T. Higgins. They've had trouble defending them both. There's no doubt about it. And so that I'm sure Sean McDermott, after beating Pittsburgh last week and rushing, his team rushed for 249 yards in Pittsburgh last week. I'm sure as soon as he was on the plane heading back to Buffalo, he was like, what did the Bengals do? What, Joe Burrow's back? Oh, we got Jamar. T. Higgins going to be, oh my goodness. He was up all night. Couldn't even enjoy the win, trying to figure out what he's going to do against the Cincinnati Bengals. And
you make a great point, Solly. I think playing Buffalo, this next opponent, let's talk about that a little bit. Man, they got a premier quarterback in Josh Allen. I mean, the guy is great. Big, strong, can run, can throw, can do anything. Got a cannon hanging off of that right shoulder. Can throw the ball to any quadrant of the football field with velocity and with accuracy. But they're running the football. Man, almost 250 yards rushing. I mean, gosh, that's unbelievable. I think that's going to be the big key. Which team can run the football and which team can shut down the other team or control or contain the other team's running game enough where, they can protect their quarterback easier, the team that runs the football, and the team that can't run it quite as well has some difficulty in that area, and now you can heat them up and you can bring some pressure off the edge and up the gut, and you can, come with your package of blitzes and pressure the quarterback pretty well. I think the run game is going to be massive, a big key in this football game.
Yeah, advantage, Buffalo, I think is evident by what they did last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Remember, that game started off very slowly.
Yeah.
Their wide receivers are struggling. And I'm talking about the Bills. Their wide receivers are struggling to win on the outside, on the perimeter, and down the field in the passing game. They're not getting separation. And that offense was struggling. Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator for the Bills, quickly adjusted and said, let's crank up the run game. And James Cook got it going. He's got more, he has more 100-yard rushing games than any other running back this season. He's got 7 of them.
Wow.
And he's a threat. And then you add Ray Davis, his backup, he's really good too. The reason why I said advantage Buffalo, because the quarterback factors in their ability to run the football, right? The read option, the RPOs. When you have the quarterback who can become a runner, they kind of win with the numbers when it comes to defending the run. Yep. He's a threat to keep it. And so you don't have that extra defender when the quarterback is an equally good runner as your 2 running backs. And so they have a trio of guys who can tote the rock for the Buffalo Bills. And it's going to be a challenge. There's no doubt. Hey, look, this is a week where the tackling is going to have to be at a premium. You can't be a grabber. You're going to have to be a guy that uses your shoulder pad, same foot, same shoulder, and you're going to have to run through people and wrap up if you're going to get these guys on the ground.
Agree with you, Solly, totally. I think it comes down to 2 T's, and we've talked about them a little bit, turnovers and tackling. Which team is going to take care of the football, and Joe Burrow is a master at taking care of the football, not putting it in jeopardy. Don't give the other team an extra possession. No more situation where they get in one more possession, one more opportunity to score points than we do. No. It's not going to be. It's going to be the reverse. And will the Bengals be able to control and contain that running game, like talked about before, and maybe get an extra possession with a takeaway? That could be key in determining the outcome of the football game. This one's going to be interesting, Solly. It's got a lot of juice to it.
I think it's got sort of like the shootout thing kind of written all over it.
Yeah.
We know our defense has kind of struggled some, scoring 30 points for the Bengals offense isn't going to be good enough. Like you just we know that. And, but I do get the sense that Al Golden has not thrown up the white flag of surrender. This guy is working as hard as anybody to figure out how he can manage a defense without Trey Hendrickson. I mean, think about it. He doesn't have his true pass rusher. I feel bad for Coach Golden because he's had to deal with, trying to create a better defense. But you and I both know the talent isn't where it needs to be. They don't have the edge rushers. They don't have all the components. This is a young team. They have young players, and even the experience isn't there that you want, or at least not that you would like to have. So he's had to try to manufacture some things in a very different way. Think about how do you stop? I mean, you could look at what Houston did a couple of weeks ago against Josh Allen, but trying to duplicate that for Al Golden, I don't know that that's going to be easy at all. In fact, I know it's going to be very difficult. So trying to figure out how to slow down Josh Allen at home, I think it's going to be difficult. Yeah, you got to stop the run game, but you got to keep him from scrambling. If you get him in third, medium, third, short, he can take off and run 5 yards, right? And you got to put him in third and long, and even you're not safe there. And how much do you just go man to man and throw caution to the wind to try to contain him in the pocket or get pressure on him? It's proven that if you can blitz him and you can contain him while blitzing, man, you can see his production comes down.
Right.
But good luck in pulling that off and being able to execute in the way you saw the Houston Texans, who, oh, by the way, is one of the best and most physical defenses in the NFL.
Absolutely. And you mentioned Al Golden. Let's talk about the defense a little bit, and particularly the back end. I mean, it's like, I'm sure he's probably scratching his head saying, what's the best thing to do? Should I load up the box, put extra linebackers in there and play man on the back end? Or should I play zone, rush 4, drop 7 into coverage and change my zone coverages up a little bit? Like you said, the Buffalo Bills wide receivers are struggling, but Josh Allen is such a huge factor running the football. Man, I mean, he poses the biggest problem for me. He's the biggest piece of the puzzle that I have to solve. How do you think Al Golden will go about stopping this Buffalo Bills offense, Solly?
Well, you're going to have to commit defenders to the box. I mean, your safeties are going to have to be really good tacklers. I think you've got to, you can almost go with less of a sub package and add another linebacker to the mix, right? They have, they have been typically a defense that's a 4-2-5 in the secondary plan with a nickel guy, but they've been very smart at going more in the 4-3-4, and that I think helps solidify around the line of scrimmage and be a lot better against the run. But when you get to the point of attack, man, you got to tackle. You got to get guys on the ground. Whether it's Josh Allen running the ball, whether it's James Cook, whether it's Ray Davis. They've got good tight ends, by the way, who can block and catch the ball. And that's what's hurt the Bengals defense. Think about catches over the middle of the field, the tight ends. Dalton Kincaid is as good as you're going to find, right? Dawson Knox, who's been banged up a little bit. I think he's going to be back for this game. And Jackson Hawes. You've got 3 really good tight ends. They've gone 13 personnel, one running back, 3 tight ends, and still been able to throw the football, let alone be able to run it. Yeah. So you're going to get some of that because their tight ends have been more productive than their wide receivers. So it'll be interesting to see the many looks they'll throw at the Bengals defense to try to get that run game going.
A guy that speaking to your specific position, Solly, in the secondary defensive back, but this guy is not a safety necessarily. DJ Turner, watching him on tape and watching him at practice and talking to coaches, they're very excited about his ability to play coverage, man. I mean, he's sticky. He's very physical, gets his hands on people and reroutes them in bump and run in those techniques. He knows the angles to play when he's playing off in coverage. He's just a very intelligent football player, does his homework, studies tape. And I think, of all the players in the secondary, he's probably tackled the best. I mean, he's gotten people on the ground. He gets his head across the bow, and slams that shoulder in there, like you said, Stolly, get that shoulder pad slammed into the opponent and wrap him up and take him to the ground. I think he's playing pretty good football. What do you think?
He's improved in every area. In his man coverage, he does a much better job of keeping his eyes on the receiver at the top of the route. That's where separation occurs. And your young defensive backs, when they're in man coverage, they want to peek in the backfield. They want to look at that quarterback. And as soon as you take that peek and those eyes off the receiver, it forces you to pause. And now that's where separation takes place. But having the discipline to see that receiver at the top of the route and stay with them as they're moving, to stay with them And then as you close in and get into good relation, then you can sneak a peek. There ain't no sense in looking at the quarterback as that receiver starting to try to get separation running away from you. You got to stay with your coverage and stay with him. The quarterback's not going to throw you the ball. He's throwing it to him. So you got to be able to, that's a sort of intricate detail in coverage that's so nuanced that you'd be surprised how good your technique has to be at that moment. Keeping leverage on a receiver, not letting them cross your face, because if he crosses your face, it's like boxing out in basketball. You got to box out and not let a guy get in the paint, because when that ball is coming off the rim, he's closer to it than you.
Right.
And if he's in front of you, if he has that leverage, he can get to the ball before you can as the ball arriving. So you can't let them cross your face over the middle of the field. These tight ends are like big power forwards. If you give them that inside leverage, quarterback's going to throw that dagger every single time. And the quarterback is reading color, right? If he sees that color of his jersey as that guy is crossing the middle of the field, he's throwing it.
Right.
But DJ Turner's done a really good job of he's taking that inside breakaway. He's keeping his leverage. He knows how to maintain that leverage. And I just wish they were doing that more uniformly, because I think you would see the overall play in the secondary go to the next level. But these are very intricate things, very young defensive backs. We knew that there were going to be a lot of guys at a lot of different positions, right, on defense that were young, that were going to have to improve. DJ Turner is one of those guys who have done exactly that. And he's gotten better in a lot of different areas, and that's why he's playing much better.
So, Solly, let's talk about the defense. Defensive line first. Three defensive tackles. They're all young. They're in a rotation. Shamar Stewart on the edge. Joseph Osai coming off the other edge. Trey Hendrickson, as we said, is not able to give the Bengals, what he is capable of giving them right now. He's nicked up a little bit, beaten up a little bit. So the Cincinnati Bengals defensive front, are they playing well enough on first and second down to get the offense into 3rd and 5 or more and pressure the quarterback effectively?
There are sometimes, yeah. Other times it's spotty, right? It's inconsistent. But that's our league now. I mean,
yeah,
I see that happening across. That's not unique to the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, if you look at the Ravens, who defense over their 5-game win streak have been phenomenal. A healthy Roquan Smith that made a difference. So the inserting a few guys that came over in trades in the secondary and on the defensive line, I thought had made a huge difference, right? And then they get up against the Bengals. Bengals just shred. They go right down the field on the first drive and score. And they were – so these teams, a lot of the defenses are finding it very difficult to be consistent week in and week out. The other guys do get paid too. Sure. So the Cincinnati Bengals, I just think with, look, BJ Hill, I think has continued to be very consistent. He's just very consistent and very steady. And yep. I love the way he's playing. I think Chris Jenkins is getting better. He's starting to adapt, right, to the NFL. These games are longer. The season's longer. But if you are a fighter and you got pride in what you do, you're going to get better. And that's how you get better. And you could see the guys that have the pride that are literally getting better before our very eyes, because they're not making the same mistakes. I'm seeing Miles Murphy improve. I mean, that's been very encouraging. So, but man, you and I both know these games come down to the final moments. Even after getting 5 takeaways last week, they still needed a few stops. I mean, it wasn't a lock. It wasn't a guarantee, but those 5 turnovers were critical. They were so crucial. And you just have to love the way that those guys came out fighting on a short week where, you don't practice before playing on a short week on 4 days rest, right? And you go right in there and have to play again. And to come up, they had 10 turnovers going into that Ravens game, end up with half that total in one game.
Yeah.
Very significant and showing drastic improvement.
No doubt about it, Solly. So let's we're getting close to the time that I know you're a busy man. You got things going on. We're getting close to wrapping it up here. We talked about turnovers, takeaways. We talked about tackling. Give me a couple of other keys that Solomon Wilcots, as you look at the big picture of this football game, a couple of other keys, a couple of other musts that the Bengals have to get done to beat the Ravens.
You mean the Buffalo Bills? Yeah, the Buffalo Bills. You got to win on first down. Defensively, you got to win on first down.
Right.
These play callers, and in this case, Joe Brady in our NFL today, they want to win on first down. They want to stay out of second and third and long. You take away the significant gains on first down, now they got to throw on second. They're not comfortable sticking with a run game when they get behind the sticks, right? Every last one of these teams. I mean, think about it. Derrick Henry had 60 yards rushing, only had 10 carries. He averaged 6 yards per carry. I mean, you think Todd Monken had to stop giving the ball to Derrick Henry? No, he didn't. The score wasn't such a huge separator, but a couple of turnovers. Derrick Henry didn't turn it over. Yeah, they just kept throwing it, kept turning it over. He got away from the run game early because they were behind the sticks on early downs. Yeah. So if you win on early downs, it plays in your favor defensively. First down is money. We used to always say third down is money down. The way that you create a favorable third down scenario, which is third and long, get a stop on first down. You got to put your work in on first down. And second down, they may get a little bit, but they get nervous on third and long. So they're going to end up, if they can't gain anything on first down, because they come out, more teams are throwing it on first down than anything else. If they can't complete it, they're not going to run on second and long. They might, but for the most part, you should shut that down. You should minimize. If you don't give them more than 3 yards of carry, they're going to be facing 3rd and 7. No coordinator wants to be in 3rd and 7 or longer, right? And so that's so you got to be good on first down, especially when you're playing on the road. And if you could do that, and Joe is going to stack some points here now. This guy is going to stack some points. The Bengals have scored 30 or more points in 13 games since the start of last year.
Incredible.
And we've won just a little over half of those. We're 7-6 in those 13 games. Now, any fans who's sitting there giving my man Zach Taylor any flack, just stop it. Right. Just stop it, because I dare you to find another play call out there that's putting up these kind of points when your defense on the other side ain't getting a whole lot of stops. And listen, we lost 6 of those games. We lost the game this year when we scored 40 points for crying out loud.
That's crazy.
I mean, so I love what Zach is doing with the offense. They're running the ball better. You even know that. Dare I say, we saw Joe Burrow under center last week. I was like, oh, look, I was like, hallelujah, the clouds have parted. we got him under center, because that means the run game we're more intentional. And it helps our offensive line now. It does.
No doubt.
It does. Now, I don't want to see these guys in the 2-point stand. Can you imagine Amarius Mims in a 3-point stand and a down, and we're pulling on the other? That dude will dominate. He'll become one of the best tackles in football. You and I know it. He's athletic. He's big. When he gets in a 2-point stand, I want to see him running forward, not in a 2-point stand, kick stepping and dropping back the whole game. Yeah. I'm just saying, man. I just help these guys out a little bit, and they become much better. Our run game is much better. Chase Brown, 6 straight games, over 100 yards from scrimmage. This guy he's a dual threat now, and he's electric. He gives our offense juice. And you know what I like about him? He's a nasty dude. He's a little junkyard dog now. Don't, and you know what Dick LeBeau used to say, B-I-G don't spell man. and Chase Brown may not be that big, but he's all man. This dude is tough now. I like what I see. He reminds me one of my favorite Bengals all time. And I know I'm on a tangent here, but I got to get this.
Oh, that's good.
One of my favorite Bengals all time. Every time I see him, I hug him. I'll call him up every now and then. It's Giovanni Bernard.
Yeah.
And you know why. You know why, Dave.
Yeah.
Because this dude I'm telling you now. I remember games when the season was over. They had nothing to play for. They're out of the playoff. This dude come out. I don't care what the situation, what he was bringing it.
No question.
He was I said, that's Absolutely. What I'm talking about. That's what nothing on the line, nothing to play for. Gio brings it. That's what Chase Brown reminds me of. That dude. And I'm telling you right now, he is this guy. You can win with him now. You can win with him. I think he's got a chip on his shoulder a little bit too. The season didn't start for him the way they wanted, but you notice how he never doubted. He hung in there. Yeah, he was pissed when you lose a game. When you score that many points, you lose. He ought to be upset. I wasn't down on him. That's the fighter in him. Trust me when I'm telling you.
Yep.
And I think he was more honest than anybody else. And he wasn't pointing fingers at anyone. I don't think he did it in a tasteful way. So, but somebody's got to get mad. I've been in locker rooms now. You've been in locker rooms. Be worried about guys who are okay in those situations. That's when you worry.
Right.
Don't worry. When a guy gets saying, okay, enough is enough. This is over. This is over. That's what I want, more guys like that on my football team.
I agree with you. I want somebody that's not afraid to call teammates out,
Amen.
In a constructive way. Call them out, it's like you got to do your job.
It's got to happen. It's got to happen. That's in our sport, that's the only way you get change. And it doesn't always have to come from a coach.
Yeah.
Players have to police this stuff up. This is where players take ownership. Yep. That's why when everybody talk about fire coaches, and I'm like, no. This wasn't about firing no Lou Anaromo. This is about the guys. It's about those guys, man. That's where games, my good friend Merrill Haas says it all the time. Coaches have all the power and no control. They got no control.
Well said.
They can't make any plays out there on Sunday. They can't tackle anybody.
Yeah.
Are you going to blame Al Golden because these dudes can't tackle? Al Golden, like, man, I got to teach you. How long you been playing ball again?
Yeah, really,
I got to teach you what? I mean, come on, man. I'm trying to teach you the scheme. I'm trying to teach you that tendencies of what Buffalo's going to be doing to you. There's a lot of high-level thinking. Now, I do know offensive lineman, your position, it's highly technical.
Right.
You guys are always working your technique. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
And you only going to block certain schemes a certain way. I'm not saying you guys aren't smart. I think offensive linemen are some of the smartest guys on the football field, to be honest with you.
Right.
But secondary, there's a lot of X's and O's you covering every week. A lot of coverages, a lot of schemes on the offense that you got to deal with. If we got to stop down, I got to teach you to hit with the same foot, same shoulder, wrap up when you come on, man. Come on, man. I mean, like that. You know what Dick LeBeau used to say? Tackling is more about want to than how to.
Yeah.
It's more about want to. Do you want to tackle? If you want to get that man on the ground, you're going to find a way to get that man on the ground. I'm just telling you.
Bingo.
There
No question about it. And that's definitely the case. I mean, want to is the biggest part of it. Solly, I can't thank you enough. You're as good a guest as anybody could ever want to talk football. Love talking football with you. It's always enjoyable. It's always educational, and you're the best, man. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. There's nobody better.
I will say this, and because sometimes I can be critical, and I get on my team. This is my team. I love the Cincinnati Bengals
Absolutely.
more than anyone.
Yeah,
but I like to be critical while offering solutions. So that's when you know it's coming from a good place. I'm never here to denigrate or downgrade our team. There are a lot of things we could do better. I have covered all 32 teams in this league.
Yep.
I've been in every single building in this league. I've seen it done. I've seen it done the right way at every level. And so if you hear me pointing out an area where it ain't done right, I'm only coming from a good place because I want improvement. I want to see it done right. I just want to say that so everybody know where I'm coming from.
Solly, again, can't thank you enough. You're much appreciated, my man. You are the best.
Thank you, Dave. All the best to you, my friend.
Have a great one, sir.
All right, take care.
You too.